Hey. I always try to get on here before 7 so I can have this moment with y'all. Whoever y'all are who watch this later on the page. You know? But episode 11, she's double digits. I feel like I should I don't know. I feel like I should do something specifically for, you know, going into double digits. But we already coming a lot of stuff coming away. I don't want to talk too much about you know what we got going on, but you know we got a lot of things in store, right? Obviously, I feel like I might add a little bit more props. Obviously, I definitely want to get some of my wall, but I want to move soon, so hopefully this set changes. Maybe I always have my water. Might have snacks also embedded in the video. I don't know, right? But that aside, I'm just saying like there's gonna be new stuff that's always coming on. And always on time, we have our guest coming on right here. And before I bring her on, just for the video sake purposes, I wanted to let people know that I wanted to bring this person on because one, I feel like past couple weeks had a lot of guys, but I love coming to the women, but I wanted to ensure that I had this specific artist because of what she's doing in the community, in her personal community, and a lot about her artistry really speaks to me, honestly. So, hope we can get her back on. She like the way that. Let's see if she's in here. Okay, cool. Alright, let's try to get her in here. Invite. When you get her in here, LB Valley. Hey! Good evening.
Good evening. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay?
I can see you. You look great. You sound great. How are you feeling today?
Good. Did some work today. Feeling relaxed now. So not
How's your Sunday been going?
Yeah, not too bad. Me and Aaron actually are working on our new space right now. So we did.
I see.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna talk more about that space because I want to know more about how that even came to be as well. But everybody coming in, welcome everyone to another episode of Kicking It with Kachi, where we kick it with the realest, powered by the DC Voice. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, we highlight an entrepreneur, an artist, or just a mogul of color that's really taking the industry by storm. And tonight, we have the pleasure, the honor, and honestly, all the positive words to be sitting down and kicking it with the Miss Kya Shipman. Wow.
That was a wonderful
I need to get a soundboard. All right, so now I'm going to get a soundboard. So I do that because I feel like there's a lot of dead air after. I need to do like a poof. Yeah, like an explosion. Yeah. But thank you for coming on.
Of course. I'm super excited. Huge fan. I support everything you do.
Stop it.
So fitting for you. So I'm excited to be here. I'm super excited.
I'm excited to have you. You know what I'm saying? So for anyone that doesn't know who Kya is, or anyone that's going to be watching this video later when we post it, Kya is an artist, right? Visual artist, but she also partakes in creative direction for Amp Official and also for her own creative collective, In My Duffy. Is In My Duffy, is that a slang on duffel bag? I feel like I was...
Yeah, so it's kind of like a slang on that, and then just being your Duffy,
Yeah. So tell me about your journey first, from being a hobby artist to legitimizing your business and being like, hey, maybe I'm good at selling this.
Yeah, so it's been kind of a long run. I think I started about 7-8 years ago when I was a junior in high school, and really I just started painting because I was bored and I liked the idea of me being able to create something that I saw in my head or just what other people were doing. That kind of lingered in that weird I'm doing it, not really doing it stage for a while, up until I was a junior in college. That's when I kind of decided if I want to do this art stuff, it's now or never, because I was going to school for biology, and my track was to go to med school afterwards.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so realistically it was you need to spend a year now deciding if you even like this, or if this is like, you know, what's calling you on your heart. Try it out for a year and then see if it works. So I ended up deciding that my junior year, like, okay, I'm gonna do a year, go hard with this like art stuff, see what I could possibly do, and then decide if I want to keep going or if I don't. As you can see, the year went great.
Yeah, you're still going.
Yes, the year
Shout
went.
out to the med school dropouts. I never went. It makes sense.
Yeah, whole med school dropout before I could even think about going to med school. But the year went great. I ended up getting like an internship in like in Hyattsville with another artist, and that kind of like really solidified it. I think once I did that and I saw like there's people willing to like take this chance on me for real, even with me coming from bio, even with me not ever taking an official art, like, you know, this is just me pure raw talent and skill. Now imagine if I had the training or if I had the mentors to kind of like back me up. So after that, it kind of like skyrocketed.
Yeah, exactly. Just took off. Yeah, exactly. And that's good though, like to everybody that's watching, to know like, hey, like that thing that you probably think that you are kind of good at, but you don't feel like you may see a future in yourself. And, you know, Kya just told you that you have to do it, essentially, or at least try it. Like, just try to do it. And one of my favorite things that I saw early on was you doing the Inktober, your Inktober pieces. I don't know if you remember that. It was a little minute ago, but I'll be watching. I'll be stalking.
I love it.
So I know a lot of people, especially when it goes into, like you say, you had biology track, you was going to go to med school, and then they go into artistry. A lot of people's main problem is being consistent at always creating, right? They're like, oh, I don't feel inspired, or I don't feel like I'm good enough, or the technical skills isn't there. So with the Inktober and then there forward, how did you find the space or the mental, like how did you build the mental capacity to be like, hey, create?
And it's so crazy that you said this, because I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this out loud, but oh well. But
hey man, you know I love exclusives.
Like the questions, and I was looking like over them and trying to think about stuff. One thing I was literally gonna respond and say was that like creativity is such an ongoing process, and it's not, for me personally, it's not continuous, and you have to kind of like give yourself the grace and space to allow yourself to create when you're ready, when you're up to it, when you're like feeling it. And I think for me, I had that pressure of like, I have to create, I have to keep up, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And I'm already such a person that's like obsessed with hard work.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like good for my mental health for a very long time, because I just kept feeling basically like poop if I wasn't waking up and at least doing an Inktober sketch. Like,
exactly.
Even to this day, I can't finish like an entire Inktober, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But kind of more so that realization helped me more be okay and more efficient in creating than the actual concept of trying to force myself to create every day and reach like, you know, a certain, I guess, stop point.
Exactly.
Or whatever it may be. So I know you asked me one thing, but I had to tell
I love it. And that actually goes into my next question. So first I wanted to go into, you know, now that you are a professional artist, you also now are a creative director with your own collective in Philadelphia, and then the Amped, you know, official collective that's out there. Is that in DC or it's in Detroit, I believe?
No, it's DC based. So
DC based, yes.
Yeah, I end up kind of like finding Amped in my year trial phase. And I knew I kind of wanted to do something, I guess, graphic wise at first. And really, I'm so sorry, Kachi. You could finish your question. I just realized I started going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, basically all I wanted to say was, I mean, it's pretty much getting into your answer, but now that you are like a professional artist / creative director, do you think that the lack of, creative ability to get something, or the lack of, I don't want to say creative ability, the lack of motivation to get something on a canvas is then reflected in your creative direction work? Like you say, oh, I may not do a piece today on print, but I have a show or I have something I need to curate for something. Does it sort of now expand the outlet situation?
Oh, for sure. And that's also, I think, like a part of that understanding that like it's okay not to force yourself, because like there's
Yeah.
certain days I'm able to like go work and do my amped work and I could bust it out. I'm just going hard for a week straight. But I might not touch a painting. I might not touch another person's project. Like, and not even intentionally, but because mentally, creatively, I'm backed up. Like I just can't, like I'm having a block in that area or something like that. And it definitely does give me, like you said, that kind of like bounce to pick and choose where I am
Mm-hmm.
blocked and kind of just still be able to work and push out some form of creativity a lot easier and take that stress off of like I
Yeah.
do my amped work today. Really, like when I start the week and I like look at like all my projects and all my to-dos, I like write out a bunch of stuff and I never go in like linear order. It's never
Yeah,
like
exactly.
1, 2. Yeah, no, it's like 7, 1, 10. Like wherever I'm feeling, that's what's gonna get done, and that's what needs to get done, obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
most definitely, it's been so much easier being a creative, knowing I have like different areas and kind of like boxes to put those types of creativity.
So now I want to get into like balancing all of these hats you have to wear, right? And it is going to go into my next question after, but then I want to speak a little bit on like the mental health thing. And on your recent installment, If I Die Today, What Good Will Come of It? First of all, beautiful exhibit, honestly. If you guys haven't seen it, beautiful. It's an amazing, powerful, powerful piece. Literally on like, I feel, to be honest, a lot of artists resonate with immensely. Like first the idea of depression, yes, and not wanting to exist and not even feeling as if you have any place here. But then that next question is, I feel like, is the most profound. Like, what good would it do if I died today? Like, nothing is essentially going to change, or I haven't left anything behind. So do you feel like, let's just talk more about like that piece and how it came to be?
Yeah, so painting wise, I think I'm starting to structure my paintings in a way to storytell better and become more efficient in like the purpose and the meaning. I think I have really turned painting for me into something more so an avenue for me to say something to the world and to like you said, kind of like leave something, purpose and meaning and so on and so forth. So really this series that I was working on was called my creation series, which was
Mm-hmm.
basically taking new forms of mediums and incorporating into painting, me trying abstract for the first time, me doing a bunch of spray paint pieces, me like, so it was like very broad and very like, I kind of just wanted to flex my ability
Yeah.
to like perform. And I knew I wanted to do an installation. That was like, from the very jump, I was like, okay, I'm gonna end it with an installation. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
exactly.
creation, great. Had no idea. Like I remember vividly, like I was at my mother's home visiting her in South Carolina, and I was like searching all these different like interactive exhibits, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
they're terrible. I'm like, I don't want any of this. And then I saw, and I wish I knew his name. I'm so bad with names, but it was on Pinterest. And to anybody out there, Pinterest is my best friend. Um, it was this Asian artist, and he was sitting down in this like big white rotunda, and he had like a singular wire that was
Mm-hmm.
going up in a circle all the way to the
Oh,
top.
wow.
It was that's what I'm saying. It was gorgeous,
Yeah.
breathtaking. He was like sitting in almost like this, like on his knees, prayer like pose, and all of these like random,
Thoughts,
thoughts,
essentially.
ideas was coming out of his head, and it was like
Nice.
glorious. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, how do I make it me?
You, exactly.
Yeah, and my mother always jokes. She goes like, "You're super dark. Like your art is a little, it's not."
Well, you did. I don't know if you went lighter with this. With this one.
I know. I tensed it up. But almost like when she says those things, I laugh because I'm really like, you're right. But then how do I make it to a point where people want to accept it, or like, So that was a lot of like the thoughts going into this, and I'm sorry, I got confused where I was going to go next, but that was like a bunch of the thoughts. So I knew I wanted it bright. I knew I wanted to do this thing where things were coming out of my head like thoughts. And I knew I wanted to say something about my depression, because I think at the time it was piping up really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like the name of the piece is where I was. It was kind of like I was struggling with all of these like thoughts of not being good enough, of not proving worthy, of not really like finding purpose to live, essentially. But I knew I had to, if that makes sense. Like I knew I had to, I knew I wanted to say something. So it was kind of like a mix of all of those thoughts coming together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the actual like creation of it took me like a week. Like, so I spent months like having all these conversations with myself, talking about all these things. And then when I finally like put it into action, it literally took me.
It's flowed out.
I was ripping like pages of books. I was taking flowers. I was taking like backwood wrappers, like things that just kind of connected and resonated with who I was. And like anything that possibly every day I think about was going in there. Because I really wanted it to like connect and feel and make sense. So even if like from far away you're like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful, even close up you're like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Like,
exactly.
No, she put backwood wrappers in here. Like, notice, like, so it was like a bunch of all of those things put together that kind of created this one piece. And I'm so glad you liked it. I'm so glad.
No, it's beautiful. Like the idea of it was, first I saw the explosion. Right, and then I saw the videos of people in the station. I didn't notice it also came with a gun. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, she's really pushing the envelope here. Like she's going crazy." But that's the type of art that I feel like, that's the type of art, especially what I have. One is the type of art that I feel like creatives in general need. Like we need that really stark imagery because nothing else, honestly speaking, is gonna capture that feeling. Like, because you pull the trigger and
It's kind of sad that we need that like rough like shape sometimes to really get our point across. But I'm starting to realize like people just don't listen, and when they do it a few times to really like connect and like care and like understand the point. So yes, I did take it darker, Mom. If you're watching.
You did, but you made something beautiful, which I feel like was the point of the piece, and where that angst. Right, that angst of not feeling good enough, not feeling you belong, it can become something beautiful. There's something beauty, like J. Cole says, there's beauty in the struggle, right? Yeah. And I know, me personally, I'm always the first one to say I don't like to romanticize struggle, but you know, human experience is tragic, it's tragedy and triumph, right? And there's beauty in either one. So, in talking about triumphs, right, and connecting with other people, let's explain the work that you do for In My Duffy.
Okay. Yes. So Duffy is a collective of a bunch of Howard students that work on it. So it's me, Billy, Kyla, our friend Justice was working on it at some point. So it's like a really like a mosh pit of different people coming in at a certain time and really just giving it their all. And really what we want to do is kind of just like be supportive of creatives and kind of ruining the idea of what a creative has to be also at the same point in time. So really just like doing whatever, like we literally do whatever we can in the name of support. So whether that is like shouting out people who don't get recognized, putting on shows for these people. Like right now we're currently working on like doing an art show for underground Detroit artists. So
really, exclusive info.
Look, okay.
Exclusive info.
I work in silence, okay? But I'm loud as fuck if y'all ever
Yeah, never rob a bank with Kaya because she gonna rat you out to the bank teller.
Not at first or initially, but accidentally talk to somebody about it by accident or something. But yeah, so that's like kind of the overall like theme. We're definitely working out. I think we're in a space right now of a lot of growth and development. So we're working out like exactly what are we doing? Like, are we going to do only events right now? Like, are we going to remain digital? Like, it's kind of like it's one of my babies.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in a growing stage, but a lot of planning, a lot of like stuff looking forward to. So yeah, that's that.
I mean, the baby's walking now. You guys just had your first event back in September.
Yes.
So how do you explain to me, and I guess the people that are going to be watching this, how do people on the ground essentially come up with a street level, street-wide event that you can have multiple vendors and DJs and giveaways and all this amazing energy really orchestrated by, people, like I said, people on the ground?
Um, so really, I hate saying this, but every day I learn this more and more. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And that's period. Like, I wouldn't have been able to, like, put on that event or, like, even do it through Duffy if I didn't know half of the people that, like, helped and, like, just gave me the space, gave me the support, like, you know, even, like, the venue.
Yeah.
A couple months prior, I had worked with them for a kind of like a nonprofit project that they were working on. Like, I knew I wasn't getting paid, but I just wanted to do it out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
Fast forward, they're the same people who, like, gave me the space, who had a block. They literally have this block.
The whole block. Wow.
Yes, so it was like I already knew I wanted to do, like, kind of like a block party, like you said.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how I was going to get a block in Detroit because I knew I was going to probably have to go through the city. I was going to have to do this, have permits. Like, I wasn't going to be able to drink. Like, it was just a lot of things that I was like, I feel like there's another way. So like I said, it's really who you know. I made that call once I realized, like, I know somebody who has a whole block.
A whole
like,
block. Yeah.
I know people who, like, I've worked with and we have a good relationship that could possibly do this. And I gave the idea to my friend Jasmine, who is a part of, like, Eastern Market Brewing Company's, their, like, event planning portion.
Yeah.
And it was like a yes. It was a no questions. It wasn't, like, much to it. Like, we gave them our little event brief. We had our probably like 2 meetings, and then we had the show.
And just boomed it. Nice.
And it was really, and when you're starting to, I will say this, one, be ready to pay. Like, you know, for the first couple years you're doing anything, like, I feel like everybody knows, but
yeah, there's zero return on investment.
It's
zero.
No return in this.
Yeah, there's no return on investment.
It's straight grit. It's straight heart. It's straight, like, coming out of your pocket and putting on a smile after you came on your pocket for thousands of dollars, like, smiling the entire time. And yeah, just getting, and just having the idea, like I said, being prepped to, like, give out the effort and the energy and, like, kind of knowing in the back of your head, I'm not going to get this right away, and that's okay. And just doing it, like, at the end of the day, like, when you're starting and from anything, any idea, like, any point, like, it's just a matter of you putting that first foot forward and just literally going through with it. Because even midway through the day, I had to, like, run home, take a shower. I was in my house, like, literally hiding probably for, like, a 45 minutes, an hour.
Nah, when you run the event, I know what you mean. When you run the event, you need to find a corner to just.
I have to go to.
Yeah,
like,
I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Yes, like, literally hiding. Like, my friends were calling me, like, so are you, like? Yes, I am. I just ate. I'm on my way.
And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, the event happens and you're like, dang, like, we're always stuck in this whole thing of like we said earlier, we're not good enough. It's not going to go well. So we try to hide, run away from the thing that, you know, is making us most successful. And then when we do step out, you have amazing events like that. Was the connection with your friend also how you were able to do the design on the brewing company cans?
So no. Aaron. Aaron's cousin is a part of the nonprofit they were working with.
Okay.
Or they were working with, like, for the campaign.
Yeah.
So we were actually at his, like, mom's house, I think, for, like, family dinner. Like, literally, like, something totally, like, calm. And she asked Aaron, like, yeah, like, would you be interested in it? But Aaron was just like, you know, that's not really my style, but, like, maybe I would want to do it. And I'm like, you know, YOLO. Like, I don't really, like,
I never did a can before, but I could do it. I could try.
Yes, and I also secretly love beer. I'm like, a beer person. So I was like, this is so on brand. And it, like, the whole process of that was, like, super cool in itself.
Yeah.
Because, like, along with making the can, like, we got to make. So, like, they took us to, like, all of, like, their little in-house brewing, and we were there, like, physically dumping, like, the grains, like,
wow.
It was really, like, a cool hands-on, like, experience that I'm super grateful for. But yes, it was Aaron, and it was Aaron's cousin, who is also named Aaron. Sorry, that was a lot.
I mean, all that just to say, like, yo, do not burn your bridges. Like, literally look out for all the people to the left and right of you, because you never know who's going to be your next opportunity. Could be to
Yes.
So, speak of on networking sideways, right? Now let's talk about what you do for Amped. because you're in Detroit right now, right?
Yes.
So how does that work with like you being in DC and stuff like that?
That's it. Now I can go on my AM spiel.
Okay.
So I started from the top. So I started working at AMP when I was doing that. Like I said, I was doing that year-long. Let's try. Let's apply to everything I can. So I ended up applying to them as a graphic designer intern. Like at first, I was just doing like graphic stuff. I was really just kind of being who I am, a loudmouth, opinionated. I can never do no wrong in the art world.
We love it. We love it.
Yeah, so I was very like brutally honest with my boss. Like, I don't like this. I don't like the way you guys do that. I don't like this. I don't like that. You should do this. And after a while, he goes like, I guess the wheels in his head started turning. Like, this girl has a lot like to say.
More to offer than just making graphics. Yeah.
Yeah, like she obviously like wants to do more. Like she has the ability to do more. And he kind of just took that chance. I think AMP was already at a place where they already were starting to grow basically their team in itself and kind of like fill really crucial pieces that they were missing. And I was just the right time, right place. Like I didn't know that they were like in this space, and I just kind of showed up. And he, like I said, he gave me the opportunity, kind of gave me the chance, opened the door, and I've been here ever since. And with them currently right now, I've obviously transitioned. Like I still do graphics, or like I'll do kind of like the template for it, because it's you know, when it comes to like
Instagram stuff. Yeah.
So it's very like you could bust it, just have it. So we work on that, kind of like the overall setup of like what it looks like and what are the artists doing, like what are they standing behind, like all of those conversations I'm involved in. And then I've also been recently put in charge of the White Room, which is kind of like the specific they're doing, where they're taking, I guess, like the music artists, quote unquote, putting them in this kind of like white space. And I get to, this is my first project, like interior designing, quote unquote, or set designing, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay.
And doing that whole thing from start to finish. So that's currently what I'm working on with them. And I know you asked about like how does that work being Detroit? So I remotely. So the blessing of the pandemic and starting like all these jobs in the pandemic, I was doing it remotely because I had to. It was kind of like if she's efficient and she like shows up, she attends all the meetings. I don't think anybody really had a problem that I relocated to Detroit. Without asking, of course. But yeah, so now like I do everything remote, and even now they recently like are setting up a home base in Atlanta as well.
Oh wow!
So I'll be like going back and forth and like helping out with that. So that's there.
Okay. No, that's beautiful. Because honestly, that kind of is how I ended up here at the DC Voice. Like I was working during college, and they just gave me a chance to expand and do other stuff like this. And now I'm talking to people.
Like so here.
Exactly. So I know you just moved into a new studio space. I see the art behind you. Actually, I just saw Aaron's post today. I hope your couch is in a better position than it was 2 hours ago.
Much more. I literally told him today. I walked out of my like room and my whole house was like changed. And I looked at him and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I have anxiety. Like, I gotta go back to sleep. Like I didn't expect everything to be everywhere." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I'm not gonna lie. As a writer, I could definitely see a funny sitcom between an interior designer and an artist just living together. That's hilarious.
Oh, it's such a push and pull.
So what more can we expect to see from you this year?
Yes, so we are currently working on, me and Aaron, my roommate, buddy, are currently working on creating our own kind of like photography flex space. So you're going to be able to like work out a bit, like for artists, obviously we'll have like a section where you could paint, have meetings, like whatever. Sorry. Whatever you want to do. And then it's going to have like the basic kind of like paper background drops, all that type of stuff. And then it's going to have like a big photo-esque set. And that's going to be like our first time really doing something together.
Wow.
That's super, super, super exciting.
Nah, it's exciting to like do something with your best friend and like really like that's
that's what I'm saying. It's kind of nerve-wracking because like I think when we first started having these conversations, like you said, it was very like a push and pull, like an interior designer and an artist. It's two different worlds. But now we're at a space where like our conversations of collaboration is so much more efficient.
Seamlessly,
yeah, and it's really like such a beautiful thing because I was so nervous like going into it that like, you know, my friendship was going to have to take a toll because of this later on. But now it's like, as we're doing it and we're getting through it and like, we argue every day over petty stuff. So it's like, when we're arguing over this, it just feels like, okay, girl, like we're going to get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's super fun. I would say that is probably one of the more exciting things. Like I said, look out for Duffy. We're planning a lot of cool stuff. That's super exciting. And like I said, the White Room, because I have a few names that have already confirmed, and I think.
All right, I'm not gonna get you fired on here. I'm not gonna get you fired. Just let me know. Let me know. Would I know any of the names?
Oh no, for sure.
Oh yes, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is definitely because I feel like Amped has its own like feel right now.
Yeah.
Like it's very black. It's very like. It sells. It's very like pure-hearted. I think the White Space is going to do the same thing, but kind of. I hate using like good, but I don't want to say like you are good, but like it's really for like music that are like touching people across.
More people, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be for people who like also play 24 instruments. Like, you know, it's gonna be for those girls.
So in White Space, is it like black artists in a white, like just a blank white room, or what is it like?
Well, you gotta wait for that.
Oh, I gotta wait. Okay, all right, I gotta wait.
I don't know if I could tell that now.
All I know is Amps and White Space, and Kya is behind it. No problem. Yeah. And I'm gonna know the artist on it.
Yes, I promise.
And if I don't, at least I have a space to get to know that artist.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you've seen my show before. But at the end, we always do a lightning round. You know, I gotta get to know you. You know. So, for the first question, what is your favorite art medium?
Right now, spray paint.
Spray paint, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
I'm obsessed. I want to like go on trains and like really get
spray paint. Oh wow.
I'm like obsessed right now, but definitely spray paint.
Yes, Kya, the Howard graduate at 23 years old, wants to be underground spray painted.
Like a child. That's what I am.
So 3 brands you want to shout out that are not your own.
I didn't think about this one. Oh my God.
Yeah, I keep it spicy.
Okay, I'm gonna do all artists, so nobody.
Okay.
Diego is an artist from DC. Love him, huge friend. Davenport Abney for all interior
of course
pieces, artwork, and then Kip Smithers, also a DMV based artist. Actually, someone I look up to, someone I have learned from, like. And he knows I've said this all the time, but like I literally used to be obsessed with his work because he was the first person I've ever seen that took acrylic and make it look like oil.
That's hard. Yeah, that's hard. So 3 names one more time.
Diego,
music artist.
Yes, artist. Davenport Abney. Kip Smithers.
Kip Smithers?
Yes, Kip.
Kip Smithers. Actually, if you guys want to check out Davenport Abney, that is our 3rd interview. If you guys want to go to the DC Voice and check that interview out, that man is phenomenal at what he does. So, digital versus canvas.
Okay, so I am a fan of digital, and the only reason I'm going to say why is because I have really bad OCD when I paint, and I want it to look so
clean.
Yeah. And the digital allows me to do that. Digital also lets me to play with brushes that I don't normally do. And I don't worry about like the trial and error in the physical sense. Like,
and like getting rid of paint. Yeah.
Yeah. I did oil like on digital and it was gorgeous. I've never even thought about doing oil a day in my life. But that I could do.
Always a little more technical. What they said on TikTok, it was like, yeah, I felt my life, wasn't together, so I got me an iPad.
No, it's the pen, and
once you got the iPad with the pen, I feel
thorough.
like
You feel thorough.
I feel professional.
Yes, you see people just drawing for no reason. Like, it's a good vibe. It's a great thing to have.
So, are you watching any Netflix shows right now?
Okay, not Netflix. I'm on Euphoria like the rest of the world.
Oh, okay. So I haven't gotten to Euphoria yet. I don't have the emotional commitment to get in it yet.
I also shouldn't be watching Euphoria with how great all of this is. But I am, and I want to give a shout out to Abstract, which is on Netflix, and I've been kind of like binging that in itself. And really, it's just a show about design, like all forms of design.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. That's kind of where I get, like, if I'm in a funk, that's where I go to kind of like get a battery in my back, or like to hear something I need to hear, or see whatever I gotta see.
Got you. So who do you listen to while you create?
Okay, so fun fact about me, I curate playlists.
Okay. Apple Music or Spotify?
Apple Music, but every painting I've ever done, I had a playlist created for it, because there's a certain, like, I'm a very like audio person. Like, I ask anybody, I love music. Like, I could literally go deaf right now if by how much music I listen to, and that kind of influences the ideas and kind of like the original start point of a lot of my pieces. So I'll go back and just curate this giant 2-hour-long playlist with all the that I think is going to make sense to what I'm trying to say, or like the characters doing, or whatever it may be.
Okay. So this is the last thing. What are 3 lessons that you want to leave us with, that you learned on your amazing artistic journey?
Okay. Number 1, give yourself space. Like I said, that's definitely number 1 with your creativity. Don't feel like you have to just aggressively push it out. Don't feel like you are in competition to compete with the rest of social media. Like, that's crazy. So please give yourself like the space and time to like do things, to mess up, to try again. I would say that's number 1. This is, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I had these answers before, and I'm like, yeah, I think I would kind of just emphasize the point, like, it's who you know, not what you know. And to emphasize that, go out there and start talking to people, please. Like, put on a smile, even if you're not feeling good. Like, make people feel good. People like people who are good vibes. People naturally want to say yes to you if you come in with a smile and, a great attitude. They don't want to say yes to you if you're coming in with a stank face. You don't ever, like, crack them. You're not looking them in the eye. So kind of just, like, go out there, put yourself out there, like, talk to people. You never know who could be, like, your next plug or your next connect or your next anything. Like, you don't know what people could bring to the table, and people could bring amazing things, like, all the time. Like,
they could even just bring you a water one day, like, but the fact that you knew them,
just off the strength. That's what I'm saying. Just off the strength. And then last, I would say, don't be afraid to fail. And I think that anybody would say that to you, but, like, don't not do something because, like, you're so terrified of having a bad reaction, or what people are going to say, or, like, what the outcome or the consequence of this is going to be. Like, there's a consequence to everything. You might as well just do what you want. Like,
so, I think I have my wall. I was like, the biggest risk you have is getting out of bed every morning.
Literally, and it's just that. Like, it's as simple as that. End of the day. So really, don't be afraid to just go out there and do it. Like, no matter how big the idea is, no matter, like, how many roadblocks there is, no matter how expensive, like, the project is, like, I promise you God will, like, go ahead and line it up perfectly for you. So do not be afraid to fail, because even if when you do fail, it was on purpose. Like, your success happened regardless. Like,
so 3 lessons for everybody that's coming in that didn't hear. First, it is give yourself grace. please, please give yourself the space to be who you are as an individual. 2, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So everybody's a little anti-social on social medias. You might want to hit a couple of DMs, get a little conversation going, right?
Okay.
And 3, don't be afraid to fail, right? Because the biggest failure is not trying at all, you know, from the Kya Shipman herself. So thank you.
Wonderful.
I mean, hey, you're the one that get the answers. I'm just summarizing. This is my job, you know? So thank you so much, Kya. Yo, I had so much fun with you today, and that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for coming through, kicking it with me. We definitely appreciate you for all the gems that you dropped. And make sure you guys that are watching this now and watching this later when this gets posted are following the DC Voice to catch up on this episode, past episodes, and get information on future episodes. And maybe you might see one of the people that you know get interviewed as well. I'll see you guys later.